Hi guys, my name is Kenzie Sloan and I am a senior at Johnson Central, and this is my introduction speech. In my introduction speech, I wanted to cover epilepsy because even though it's becoming more and more common year by year, a lot of people still don't know much about it. I have epilepsy and I had my first seizure when I was 9, and I was really embarrassed about it, so a lot of people didn't know that I had it, and it wasn't until I got into middle school and high school that I learned a lot of people around me also had it. So I didn't know. Just to start off, you should probably know a lot of just general facts about it. As far as statistics, the incidence of epilepsy looks at the number of new cases of epilepsy given in a year or period of time. And when the incidence of epilepsy is looked at over a lifetime, 1 in 26 people will develop epilepsy at some point in their life. The prevalence of epilepsy looks at the number of people with epilepsy at any given point in time. When the estimate currently thought to be most accurate is 2.2 million people. That's a lot. I know in my high school, my freshman year, I know of 3 other people that had it along with me, and there's probably a few more that I didn't know about. Seizures are generally described in 2 major groups of seizures. They are primary generalized seizures and partial seizures. And this is what goes on in the brain. For a generalized seizure, it occurs in all of the brain. As you can see, these are separate brain waves, and this is a 1 second increment. So every area of your brain is doing something uncontrollable. With a partial seizure, it occurs in 1 area of the brain, as you can see here. Primary generalized seizures begin with a widespread electrical discharge that involves both sides of the brain at once. This is typically hereditary. My grandmother on my parental side has the same type of seizures. They were classified as grand mal seizures, and they are the most intense. Hers started occurring because of a head trauma. Mine we never could figure out why. Although I haven't had any in 6 years. I had a total of 3 in 2 months. Partial seizures begin with an electrical discharge in 1 limited area of the brain, as you can see. I don't know as much about partial seizures, but because when I would go to the doctor, we discussed mostly my type, which is the generalized seizures. And the way my doctor described it is, if you think of a thunderstorm, you can see it starting off in the distance, and as it becomes more and more occurrent, and here it becomes more widespread. And usually, if you look at someone, it usually starts in that 1 area, and you can see just like a blank stare on their face, and then all of a sudden you'll see them fall black, and the entire seizure will begin. Then I kind of wanted to talk about seizures in youth. About 326,000 American children under the age of 15 have epilepsy, and 200,000 new cases of epilepsy are diagnosed each year, and that's a lot for small children. For some, it is a temporary problem, easily controlled with medication, and can be outgrown within a few years. That's what I'm hoping for, but I went and did a sleep study where I was sleep deprived for, over 24 hours. I think it was around 28 hours I didn't get to go to sleep. And then for the rest of a 48-hour period, I was able to sleep. And they found that I still showed signs that a seizure could be possible, so I was not able to come off any medication, so I've been on medication now for going on 7 years, and hopefully I will be able to come off it soon. And then for some other children, it is a lifelong condition where they'll just have to take medication, and if the medication doesn't work, oftentimes a surgery is implemented. It's important to know what to do when someone is having a seizure too. Most often you will want to roll them on their side and make sure their head is supported with a pillow or just anything that can kind of keep their head from just rolling around and hitting something, because you don't want that to happen. And you also want to make sure that the area around them is clear of anything they can hurt themselves with. It's also important for you to stand back and be careful, because you can put yourself at risk for injury. It's also important to time the seizure, because that can help with diagnosing it and treating it. If it goes past 5 minutes, then it can be deadly and cause brain damage. It's also important to make sure you do not constrict the patient, because it will make the spasms more intense, and therefore you will put yourself at more of a risk of injury. Several things can trigger a seizure. Most often it is like flashing lights, like a strobe light, sleep deprivation, like I did with my sleep study, low blood sugar, and just things like that. And depending on how severe someone's condition is, specific foods and certain times of the day can also trigger a seizure. A really good excuse for why I don't ever want to go to haunted houses, even though I'm a scaredy cat, is that, hey, maybe there's a strobe light. But I know that when my condition started, I was very insecure about it. I had to sleep with a baby monitor for 2 years, because all 3 of my seizures happened at in the middle of the night, and I think my longest one was just over 4 minutes. So I didn't yet get to 5, but it could be very dangerous. So I wouldn't go stay at anyone's house or wouldn't let anybody come over. But and eventually after that, my doctor said that it was okay for me to sleep without it, because I had gone 2 years without having one, and my medicine seemed to be doing its job. So now I am a lot more comfortable with it. A lot of people have it, and I think it should be a lot more known about. So thank you for watching this speech, and I'd love some comments. Thanks.